More on this, let's go to Gaziantep and speak with Murat Aslan, who is an associate professor in security studies over at Hasan Kalyoncu University. Murat, always a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm sure you were listening to my conversation with Priyanka. She's been there at the border between Gaza and Israel. I asked her what she saw in terms of her observations, in terms of the Israeli presence there. She said that she's seen an increase in number of helicopters, drones flying around, armored tanks. This is clearly visible. I want to ask you, in terms of, if you could break this down in terms of a military strategy way, how Israel has been conducting its operations there.
First, let me touch one point. You called raid for the operation Israeli army conducted last night, but it's in military terms. Reconnaissance in force. That means you push the other side to react, and by that way you gather information, data, exactly how they are positioned themselves, and also what sort of assets they are using. So it's one of the initial phase of military planning, just to further the next campaigns. The second issue, the current situation is a bit strange, I believe, because Israeli army are in the assembly areas very close to Gaza. On the other hand, they are ready to deploy to the areas that they can easily disperse their units for a land operation, let me say. But for this purpose, I believe that there are some sort of actions that they have to start and also end up. How? First of all, the main bulk is reserves. That means they are actually civilian, assume some duties occasionally, like once a year, and they need to rehearse, practice, go to a shooting range, and also be ready in terms of psychological motivation. And in this case, I believe that they need some time. On the other hand, political developments, as you have mentioned, well, it's not that much enough for a comprehensive military planning right now, but time is ticking on favoring Hamas. That's clear. So it doesn't matter. It's too early or too late, but Israeli army is currently preparing with West resources and softening the targets in Gaza with either air campaigns or artillery shells. So I believe that this operation, if politicians permit, may start in the coming days, but I'm not that much optimistic that Israelis it will be easy for them. There may be a great resistance in the region.
Talk to us about some of the difficulties that the Israeli army is likely to encounter when they start the next phase of this operation, the anticipated ground offensive, because urban warfare is an extremely difficult and dangerous type of combat.
For a military planning for this scale, first of all, there must be sectors identified that the sector must be isolated from the rest of the region. So the northern part, the northern sector, is a clear target for the Israeli army. On the other hand, if you go through the urban area, there's a vast region with many buildings, and Israeli army is well aware that this region is full of traps, IEDs, mines, and also ambushes that will channel Israeli forces to certain areas that Hamas can easily penetrate and attack. In this sense, they must start a great firepower just to demolish all these barriers and repel Hamas preparations for a defense. In my opinion, it's not that much easier. And we have to compare exactly what happened in 2008 and now, because these two operations, I mean, the one that's planned right now and the one in 2008, well, they are really very similar to each other in terms of phasing, in terms of areas, and in terms of preparation of both parties. I'm not optimistic for Israelis, by the way, but still, it's very clear that it will be a very harsh battle, but civilians will be the ones sacrificed for the sake of so-called victory in the region. So I wish they come to the terms of wisdom.
Murat Aslan, always a pleasure having you on the News Hour. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.